Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a psychic tarot reading, tuning into the day's energy, seeing what divine messages of guidance come through. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. Hope this reading finds you happy and healthy and enjoying your journey to becoming more and more yourself. All of these readings are under the umbrella of the highest and greatest good. So, a lot of double cards coming out. The overall energy of this reading is the Hierophant and the Four of Swords in reverse. The Hierophant is connecting with your higher self. Wow, okay. This is it feels like I'm talking to someone. Sorry, this is kind of a big packet of information to translate. This is for someone who is attuning to and taking direction from their higher self, from the greater part of who we are that is not in the physical reality, the greater part of us who is in non-physical. It's a consciousness, our own consciousness, that is in a different connection, different reality, different dimension. It's non-physical. It's our awareness, our attunement. And it looks like who I'm talking to has been deprogramming and no longer taking guidance as much from others as you are from your higher self. Wow. Okay. By tuning into your higher self, it's like you've unlocked keys within yourself, keys of consciousness. You're opening doors within your consciousness. Got a lot of you, like I'm picturing a hallway and opening with skeleton keys, and opening up windows. It looks like there have been parts of your consciousness that for some reason, one reason or another, the people around you have not been comfortable with the expansive way that you can relate, the way you can connect with your higher self. What's interesting is, it feels like there are people who have been around you who do not have this access. And instead of uplifting you and getting curious about what you're doing, instead they want you to close those doors. They want you to lock yourself away from that way and instead fit into a smaller way of being. Wow. Feels like you've tried that. You've explored that way of being, of, okay, each of us forgets who we are in this reality because it's so dense, we don't remember who we are on an energetic level, that greater part of us that's a non-physical, that's divine part of us. So we come into this reality, in this very dense reality, and we don't remember who we are. And so the people around us tell us what this space is about, what this time, this space, how to live in this space, how to act, how to show up. Seems like they knew what they were talking about, but it feels like I'm talking to somebody who was born into a time and space and a family that is very limited, that still forgets who their higher self is, who has allowed other people to tell them what this space is and who they are. And it looks like you have woken up to who you are on a greater level. Feels like a lot of opening doors, a lot of head scratching, opening up doors within your consciousness. Wow, holy cow, this is quite the message. It also feels like a lot of you are bringing in more of your energy, taking up space, willing to be yourself instead of trying to fit into what's been prescribed. It feels like you've been doing a lot of healing, and the Four of Swords in reverse is my no contact, no communication card. Feels like you're no longer allowing others to dictate who you are and what the space is. And it feels like there's some keys. For a lot of you, just being yourself, not even telling people about this, but just showing up, your willingness to open doors within yourself, to show up fully as yourself. There are others that are interested in this journey, not so they can be like you, so they can be themselves, so they can remember who they are. Wow, okay. Beautiful. Loving this. So that's the overall energy. It looks like you've been exploring this time-space reality, giving your power away to others, diminishing who you are. Maybe people taking advantage of your kindness, your sweetness. Ooh, okay. There's a dependency here. It feels like you've been raised to believe that you're not a leader, that you need someone else to guide you. Some other confused human being that doesn't remember who they are, but has got some type of belief system that they would feel more comfortable if you followed. If you fit in, it would make them feel more comfortable. Does this make sense? It looks like in this time and space reality, in this lifetime, you really wanted to explore giving your power away, of being powerless. What must that be like, to forget who you are and to cosplay in this life as someone who's completely powerless, separated from their own power. Their own beauty and loving nature. To allow others to tell you who you are and who you aren't, and what you're allowed to do, what you're allowed to create in this very creative space. To make you dependent. and feel diminished, because if you need others, there's something about needing others, keeping you dependent, not knowing your own value and worth is part of that playing small. And also, there's something about training you away from your desires, from what you want, because that's frivolous. There's some centralized idea of what you should. Ugh. Feels like you're taking out should. So it feels like what I'm perceiving here is like I'm talking to somebody who's in the process or has deconstructed, deprogrammed from a lot of conditioning in this world, in this space and time. And it looks like you are disconnecting from those institutions, those entities, those religious entities and governments and societies and family structures that say you have to fit in. That's what this space is about. It's about somehow being, it feels just like a lot of programming of activity to keep you away from remembering who you are and what this space really can be for you if you want it to be. Wow. What messages. All right, let's keep going. In the hidden blessings, we have 2 of Cups and the 5 of Cups in reverse. It looks like you might have been trained to believe that to be in a relationship, a loving relationship, you have to abandon yourself for the other person. It feels like there's a lot of confusion around relationships, especially romantic relationships. It feels like for some of you that's the epitome of what one can accomplish in this space, which feels like it's created a lot of disappointment, grief, and sorrow. Instead, it feels like a lot of energy is trying to get someone to relate to you, to care about you, to trying to trying to find someone who can perceive you. And what I'm seeing here is what you've really wanted is to be able to perceive yourself accurately, to love yourself right now, not trying to find a reflection, someone to reflect back your value and worth, and instead realizing that you are valuable and worthy right now. You don't have to do anything. Right now, you can step into your authenticity and know yourself on a very powerful, empowering way. That, yes, we are exploring this time and space. And through time and space, which is a construct, Then we get to experience things like music that are shown through time, that you can experience through time, music. In the 7D where music originates, it's fully formed, and it isn't music, it isn't experienced like it is here. A lot of you came here just to experience music, to get to have that experience of time and space. You were really interested in not having everything all at once, but to separate it out, to get to experience a fictitious space and time. And that felt very important to getting to know you as a soul, as an energy. You are you exist. And once you exist, you can't not exist. And once you exist for eternity. And so what an interesting experience to come into a very dense space where you'd forget how powerful you are, how loved you are, and get to experience the opposite of who you really are in a very profound way. And it looks like for a lot of you, you wanted this journey in this lifetime so you could remember who you are. You're much more than your name or some identity. And it feels like a lot of you are really connecting with your higher self in such an empowered, powerful way that it feels like you are remembering the greater part of who you are, connecting in, to skills that you have, whatever those personal skills, intuition, a knowingness for some of you, your dream space. Some of you are healers. Some of you are creators, can really influence energies. And a lot of you are very powerful beings, very powerful creative beings. And in this lifetime have experienced the lack of power, giving your power away to others. How interesting, how exciting. And then to remember who you are more and more, and to take your power back. Wow. It looks like some of you have been through some very painful relationships where you gave your power away, where you were unsupported, uncared for, unloved, and this feels like this caused a great deal of pain and sorrow. Anything else in the hidden blessing? Let's move on. Wow, what interesting messages today. All right, what you're leaving behind is the Page of Cups. Okay, you're leaving behind souls, beings who are not ready and do not want in this lifetime to wake up. They feel a bit stuck in their emotions, emotionally immature. Feels like you have been trying to get people who are emotionally immature to perceive all of who you are. Trying to convince someone outside of yourself, please see me, see all this I see of myself. And instead, It feels like created relationships with people who are emotionally immature that can't meet you at those depths that you wanted in this lifetime to meet yourself, to realize about yourself. And so it wasn't that you are not beautiful and wonderful and expansive and powerful creator yourself, but you've been trying and waiting for others to perceive this within you. I think you're leaving that behind and just stepping into who you are. It's not an egoic thing. I am this, I am that. It's more, I am. Those who come to me in my life or in the professional space and tell me who they are, I am this, I am that. Who are you trying to convince that's really not embodying who you are, that's trying to convince others of who you are? People who embody this power, this energy, are trusting of their energy. I am. I am because I exist. I am because I'm perceiving. I am consciousness. There's also something about limiting. I am this, I am that. That's very limiting. And it feels like when you just leave it at I am, I exist, that taps into more of who you really are. And if you still are needing others to perceive your amness, your isness, your are-ness, then it's you might be missing the fun of this, the fulfillment of this. That feels like that activity is draining you, trying to get someone outside of yourself to perceive who you are. It looks like you're leaving that behind and recognizing there's almost like, wow, some of you are at this space in your journey of attuning to your higher self and your isness, your amness, your are-ness. There's almost an appreciation of, thank goodness that they weren't any more developed. You might have stuck around, but someone who's emotionally immature, who can't perceive of you, helped you stop trying to convince others and just own it yourself. Just embody that yourself. Wow. But this feels like a masterclass kind of messages coming through. This is a co-creative experience. So, wow, whoever's out there and this is resonating, it feels like it feels like a lot of play coming in. Now that you've kind of taken off your cosplay, or are taking off your cosplay of a disempowered person and stepping into your amness and recognizing all the gifts that come with you and your energy, and exploring, what can I do in this space? How can I play in this energy? All right, how to get the most of this energy is the King of Pentacles in reverse. King of Pentacles in reverse is someone very concerned with appearances, appearing abundant, appearing well off, This is someone really in their ego, as I'm perceiving. They want to look abundant. They want to look rich. They want to look well off, but it's all about their appearance, about how others are perceiving them, not really embodying their abundance. Who's the King of Pentacles in reverse? This feels like an incredibly stubborn person. It feels like my way or the highway. And yeah, it feels like you've had this King of Pentacles in reverse energy. Someone in your life has been this very stubborn, bullheaded, they're right, you're wrong. It's how they perceive life is the way life is. You need to fit in and believe the way they're believing, and you need to see them how they want to be seen, and you need to see yourself in a diminished way how they see you. And it looks like the activity you've been involved in is the Strength card. Finding your power, exploring, giving away your power to someone else and trying to fit in, and then realizing what true power is. The King of Pentacles in reverse is insecure and trying to control everyone's opinions of them, their ego, like, see me as wonderful, see me. So controlling everybody in the environment, controlling everyone's opinions. And it's a school. It's an interesting set of lessons. And it feels like eventually there's this opportunity to take your power back. Not allowing someone to control you, not caring how they perceive you, not caring how others perceive you, letting go of that egoic attachment and knowing yourself. There's a confidence. Instead of, this is who I am, that's someone trying to control how others see you. Someone who's confident, someone who's tamed their inner beast, their inner critic, faced their fears, has an inner confidence. They know what they're capable of. They know their faults. They know what they're working on, what they're working on to improve about themselves. There's a realness, a real understanding of who you are, and not a need to try to convince people outside of yourself. So it looks like how to get the most of this is recognizing, oh, I've been exploring giving my power away to others, of allowing others to dominate over me, to project limitations on to me, to really, really forget who I am, going even further into and then remembering and taking my power back, facing fears. Wow. All right. Moving on to what's supporting you. We've got the Four of Pentacles in reverse and the Sun in reverse. This is Four of Pentacles upright is holding on to beliefs, foundation, holding on and believing Four of Pentacles is as good as it gets. Not trusting that there's Five of Pentacles, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Pentacles. Oh. It looks like with the Death card here, or the Death person in this card, that it's taking a lot to disconnect you from a foundational belief or lack mentality. There's been a lot of confusion, a lot of, for a lot of you, it looks like childhood trauma. So you forget even further who you are, and you are programmed to believe that you are less than, that you're not safe unless you've got someone there to protect you. It feels like being dependent on others was part of your programming, that somehow you're not enough and you're vulnerable. Feels like what's supporting you is turning these cards around. Well, turning the sun, bringing some clarity, some joy, some happiness, and detaching from a toxic environment, an environment that's not enough. Yeah, recognizing that this type of treatment is not loving, not caring. Feels like trying to convince people. It feels like people have lorded over you and treated you as this, and then gaslit you. Why aren't you happy? This is what love is. This is what happiness is. But I'm cold. I'm miserable. I do not receive this as love and care. Well, what's wrong with you that you don't receive this as love and care? So there's a lot of like emotional manipulation that's gone on here. Hierophant in reverse, breaking you from your connection with your higher self. It feels like programming from childhood, separating you from your own higher self, from your own innate power, worthiness, and getting you on this treadmill of trying to chase approval of others so you will be valuable and worthy, which you are inherently. This way of being, it feels like, has led you to a lot of unhappiness, trying to fit in to belief systems that tell you that get you on that treadmill of you're not worthy and valuable, and where's all that energy going? Not for you. It feels like all that work and effort to try to convince others to make yourself worthy and valuable benefits others. All right. What to be mindful of is the Ten of Cups and the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. This feels like creating a false reality where you're dependent on others, maybe trained or taught to need others, and I'm just seeing all these treadmills that giving your energy away to others and creating some type of masking. This is great. I love life. I want happiness. It feels like what you were taught is a way to keep you on treadmills, working for others, and told that this is happiness. And when you didn't find happiness, then there's something wrong with you. Instead of, oh, well, maybe there's something wrong with the system, or this doesn't fit for you. There's something here about keeping you dependent. What would be helpful? What would be helpful for the viewer? That's interesting. The sun's like, I think you're bringing in a lot of joy, happiness, clarity. Your willingness to, bringing the truth feels like it sets your inner child free. that inner child that was locked away, parts of you, it feels like you were trained away from parts of you that don't fit into whatever society, government, family, religion, structures. And it feels like were taught to lock away parts of yourself. And I see you running through hallways, opening up the doors. You are becoming the adult in the room where your inner child is safe. Not becoming the adult that teaches other kids to hide who they really are. Other adults aren't safe to be their full self. Like you're not cooperating with the toxic systems that keep people stuck. And it looks like the more that you unlock parts of yourself, you have more and more access to your inner child, fun, delight, curiosity, things that are really interesting to you that might be your vibe but somehow didn't fit in or wasn't allowed by the systems that you were raised in. It looks like the light of consciousness and you choosing to be happy is what's really I heard catapulting you into a different level, your amness, your R-ness. So, all right, I'm going to do an extended reading. If this has resonated for you and you want to continue on and see part 2, there's a link in the description box that says it says extended reading here. You follow that link, takes you right to part 2. I'm halfway through the reading. In part 2, I'll be looking at health, relationships, new opportunities, and career and finance. So thank you so much for being here. Beautiful messages. Hope that helps. See you over on Patreon.